Greetings of peace, Om Shanti. Welcome to the Power Boost lunch break. And I'm so happy all of you have decided to be here today and participate in this lunch time when we are actually feeding the soul. We're feeding our mind, the intellect, and the soul of each one of us. I would like to talk about today resilience. This has been on my mind, resilience, because I think it's something we really need today. We've emerged into a new place in time, and we have a new normal, and the familiar past that we once knew even a week ago, 2 weeks ago, has changed. And so I was thinking one of the powers that we really need to have during these times is resilience. Resilience to keep us going with full strength. And so what does resilience mean even? It means to go through any challenging situation and being able to fortify yourself and respond in such a way. But even with resilience, we need to have understanding. We have to understand, yes, times are different, times have changed, and so that means that our stories also have to change. We have to change. And so going forward, we see that there are a lot of challenges in the world. Some might call them problems. I like to phrase them as challenges. And a lot of people today are focusing on all of these challenges. But I really think that we have to stop focusing on the challenges, on the problems, and making that volume, expanding that consciousness louder and louder. And for us to start thinking more of in terms of solutions. What am I going to do to bring sanity into my life, into my family's life? What are the solutions that we have to face? And I was even thinking, even a scientist that's looking for a cure, they're looking for a cure, but they're not focusing on the disease, are they? They're looking for a solution. And that's why they always find a solution. So we have to change our paradigm of thinking into a solution-based thought. Another thought I had was that we're always looking at the problem in a negative way, or the challenge in a negative way. And so knowing that times have changed, can we condition ourselves to embrace the newness, even if it doesn't feel quite familiar yet, but not just accept what's happening around me, but even graciously accept what's happening around me. Why graciously? Because when we accept something graciously, it puts a whole new tone into the environment, into myself. And in particular, setting out that vibration is going to come back to me in that same tone. So my karmas that come back to me will be filled with that tone, or we could say that attitude. So these are times when we can strengthen the self and strengthen the resilience in the self and go forward very joyfully and peacefully. We'll all go forward, but the way we go forward might be differently. So I find that resilience is a choice, just like everything else is a choice. But we tend to be habitual people, don't we? And we are habitualized depending on the things that we're exposed to. Many times, some of us watch a lot of movies or TV, and those things are always filled with turmoil, with emotions, erratic emotions. And so we are kind of programmed to think that way, inadvertently, but we do think that way. And so meditation allows us a time to quiet the self and put new implants into the soul, new habits into the soul. Because when we think of these higher thoughts, when the mind is still, the mind is quiet, then the soul is easily able to accept these new conditions. And so I would like for us to think about having these power boosts throughout the day, these mini meditations. And I have on my phone an app called B-Zone. I recommend everybody get B-Zone. Every hour, some gentle music comes on, very briefly. Sometimes it's only 5 seconds, 10, maybe 15 seconds, but it just kind of recalibrates. It recalibrates me. It gets me into thinking a little differently. I get away from the task I was performing, and then I put that tone back into the task when I go back into the task. And so I would like for us to just have a mini meditation right now, just to experiment with a power boost mini meditation. I don't know if we have music. We probably don't. Okay, so we will have it in silence, which is just as well. Take a breath and exhale that breath. And follow these words in your mind. I choose a life filled with resilience. I know resilience is good for me, keeps me safe, keeps me strong, and fortifies myself for any challenge that may come before me. Just thinking of myself in this quiet atmosphere, in this quiet moment, I really absorb the tone, the feelings of I am resilient. This is my choice. Om Shanti. So that was just a very short mini meditation, wasn't it? Probably wasn't even a minute. But these thoughts are very valuable for us to think during the day at different increments. And to quiet the mind when we're thinking these things. Not in the middle of a busy day and things are happening all around you and you say, I'm resilient, I'm resilient. That's okay too. But really just quieting the self so you can really absorb those higher thoughts. Really soak them into the soul. Soak them into you, the soul. And so I invite you to think about these mini meditations that you can do for yourself throughout the day. And just that you came here for lunch and having this superb, I would call this a divine lunch today, wouldn't you? It's not a lunch that we're eating through the mouth and going through the digestive tract, but it's actually the soul that's eating. The mind, the intellect, they're parts of the soul. And so you're feeding yourself. You're feeding such nourishment to yourself. And so I would like you to think about resilience today. And what I find very advantageous for myself is writing, journaling. And you can either write with a pen or pencil and paper, but I always prefer to do on computer. Maybe that's because I make a lot of mistakes and I can go back and change quickly. But I find that the creative aspect for me of changing things around on the computer is very smooth. But what I would like you to do is think about this word and this power, this virtue of resilience. And I use the word power because just thinking about resilience will empower us. I'm sure all of you must feel somewhat more resilient right now than you did 5 minutes ago. Hopefully, just because we're thinking about it. So whatever we think about, that gives us our feelings. So we've got to get off the track of thinking about all the adversities that are happening outside. Yes, they're happening outside. Now, if you're going to think about them and come up with a solution, that's a different matter. But most of us are just ruminating the problems, ruminating the things that are happening out there. And we should be ruminating our strengths. And so I would invite you again to write about resilience. Think about it in your quiet time. Think about what resilience means to you. I think you're going to be surprised how clever, excuse me, how clever you are. Once you give your time the space, the environment, then all of these beautiful things start to emerge. And when they emerge from you, they have more meaning than what's emerging from me, because it's emerged from you. It's come from your base, your home, who you really are. And so I hope that you all have the initiative, the courage to do this. And then maybe you can chat about it and tell us how you did. So I'd like to finish with another meditation. And so just relax. Are you all keeping your eyes open? I hope you are. I'm sure you've noticed that the meditator in these power boosts are always meditating with their eyes open. And that's a clue for you to do the same. Why is that? Well, I meditated for 17 years with my eyes closed. I was always so peaceful when I was in my meditation room. And then I came out, and I was a business person at that time. And I was erratic and angry and all of these things. They never changed. But when I started meditating with my eyes open, things started to change in my life. Even the colleagues and employees that I was working with noticed there were changes. Why is that? Because when we meditate with our eyes open, the residual effects go into the conscious mind, but also into the subconscious mind. And this is what we want to do. We want to be living in that meditation tone. We want to take the benefits of meditation with us when we're in real life situations. So I would like you to keep your eyes open. And I give you a thought you might want to try. You can either keep them open wide like this, but if you want to just reduce the window shades Just bring the window shades, your eyelids. We always call the eyes the windows of the soul, right? Well, these lids that you see are the shades. I like to bring my shades halfway down. It gives me a feeling of being inside this body, this stuff that I'm covered with. And so let's start our meditation, keeping your eyes open, whether full or halfway. If you feel like you have to close them, that's okay too. In time, maybe you'll try. I am filled with anticipation. This new aspect of just bringing resilience into my life with the power of my own thoughts, with the power of my own feelings that I generate at this time. So I'm not only thinking from my head, I also like to think from my heart. So think about the way you're feeling and bring that aspect into this meditation right now. So I'd like you to feel from your heart area, yes, your heart area, the heart and the head together. I'd like you to feel how resilient you are from both the head and the heart. I am resilient. With every breath, I take in resilience, and I exhale that strength through my face, through my chest, through my eyes. I love being resilient, and it's easy to be resilient. And this is my choice, to be resilient, powerful, peaceful, and happy. Because all these elements bring me into a state of happiness. And as I just sit in that feeling of being a resilient, happy soul, a resilient, happy being, I send those vibrations to the world. And we know the world needs these thoughts. Even more than the thoughts, the vibrations that we emanate from these thoughts and feelings within our meditation. A calmness comes through me. A strength comes through me. And I enjoy being resilient. Om Shanti. carry resilience with you today. Rona, I think it'd be better if you sat over there. I couldn't tell what